If this is your first time here, welcome. This podcast is about my life experiences. I've had some good ones and not so good ones. I hope that you find inspiration and encouragement through my stories. Hi, and welcome to Inspiration from the Conversation. It's here that I hope that you'll find inspiration. This is episode 26, Waiting on the World to Change. It's a John Mayer song, a good one. He's a great guitarist and a good songwriter. If you get the chance, you should listen to it. Several days ago, I came across a picture of my father, mother, and I at a bar mitzvah. It would be around 1975, and we were the only black family in attendance. A bar mitzvah is a Jewish coming-of-age ceremony for boys at age 13, marking their transition to religious adulthood and responsibility for observing Jewish law. Why were we there? I'm glad that you asked. My father was an automotive mechanic, and he was in partnership with an Italian man and a Jewish man, and the three of them owned 2 gas stations in Brooklyn, New York. It was the Jewish man's son whose bar mitzvah we were attending. Everyone there was nice to us, but most of the people didn't really talk to us either. My family and I never experienced any problems that I know of. I would come to find out later that there were mafia in the room. Anyway, the way that me and the son interacted together made me feel like family. When I left that night, I wanted a bar mitzvah too, but mainly for the gifts and the money. At this time in my life, things were good. I got the opportunity to experience a bar mitzvah, and I had a few friends, but one of my best friends at this time was a white guy by the name of Jeffrey. I guess Jeffrey was a popular name during the 60s. I was almost named Christopher George after the actor who played in a show called Rat Patrol. I watched several episodes. Me and Jeffrey played with each other and hung out nonstop. We would sing together all the time, so I thought things were natural in this setting. We knew that there was a difference in skin color, but who cared? We had much respect for one another. Not long after this bar mitzvah event, my ideology about life began to shift. One day after playing outside, I went home with a long, distraught face. My mother asked, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Mom, somebody called me a nigger." I didn't know what it meant, but I knew it was not good, nor did I know the impact it would later have on my life. It was the first time that I heard the word, but it wouldn't be the last. One thing I want you to understand, during that time in Brooklyn, the neighborhood that I lived in was a mix of different races. But once you went outside the neighborhood, it was a different world in the sense that there were a lot of Italian people. A lot of the racial slurs that were heard outside of the neighborhood came from these individuals. Please know that I understand there are good and bad people in each race. So my mother broke down how each ethnicity had derogatory words associated with it. But more importantly, she broke down and explained to me how people can be ignorant of one another based on each other's differences, even though we're all made of flesh and blood. The only difference that we have is skin color, or how we worship God, for those that believe, or that we eat different food dishes. Aside from this, the only main difference is our skin color. My mother went on to say, "Jeffrey, don't let anyone's prejudice or hate for you change who God intended for you to be. There are good and bad people in this world. You just have to learn how to navigate these people, and once you do, you will be fine." My parents had friends of different races, and as a result, I never looked at a person as being racist. I hope that you're liking this episode so far. If so, please check out my YouTube channel, Cars, Music, and People with Jeff. The channel is devoted to cars, music, and people within North Carolina. Because of the race they belong to, I always gave the person the benefit of the doubt. I always tried to see the good in a person, and I still do, unless something changes my thoughts about the person. So around the time, I think I was 13, no, I was 15, maybe 16. I left Brooklyn, and my mother and I moved to North Carolina, which is basically a different kind of prejudice and hate. Not that I didn't hear the word nigger here, but it was the way that people interacted with you. So it was nigger or possibly hey boy. And these people would carry on a conversation with me as though they were talking to someone with no common sense or no sense at all. In Brooklyn, you would hear nigger and they would keep it moving. Here, these individuals wanted to try and show their superiority, and I didn't like that. Anyone can be smart or dumb. It has nothing to do with race. And when I went into the military, I thought things were going to be different. We're talking munition, shooting guns, aircraft technology, stealth fighter planes, communications, logistics, the art of war, combat techniques, cooking, electronic, etc. It was a place that could teach you how to survive and provide you with a well-rounded skill set that you could present to prospective employers. But I found out quickly that there was no difference there either. It doesn't matter where you may find yourself, there's always one. Case in point, I was in Denver, Colorado, the year 1982. I was attending a military school for cooking. One night, a guy that I hung out with asked if I wanted to grab a beer at the Airman's Club, and I said, that sounds good. So I grabbed my wallet, and we headed back to his room because he needed to get something. When we entered his room, his roommate was watching a Dirty Harry movie. It was The Enforcer, a movie that I liked. The scene that happened to be on was the one where the black guy was being beaten by a couple of white guys. The character, Horace, played by actor Albert Popwell, was a good friend to Clint Eastwood's character. His roommate said, "Look at them beat that nigga." He kept repeating this phrase. I'm looking at him. His roommate was looking at him. Then he realized that I'm black and he began to apologize. I wanted to punch him in his mouth, but I just walked away. As we're heading out the door, his roommate, the guy that I was hanging out with, said, "Don't pay him any mind." I can tell more stories because unfortunately, I have a few, but I think you get the picture. Why is it that people hate one another because of differences? We're not born this way. I do believe it's learned through our interactions with family and people that have a warped ideology on life. You can choose to be this way or not. You have a choice. The next time you see someone who looks and sounds differently than you, give them a chance before you judge them. I do believe we can change one by one. I honestly believe that we as a nation was better when 9/11 happened, the year 2001. There were all races of people in the United States, and those that committed the attack didn't care. The attack was on all races of people in the United States. As a nation, we lost over 3,000 people over the following few weeks after the attack. Terrorist attack before this one was from within the United States. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bombing. The year 1995, 168 people lost their lives that day. All races of people. So much hate in this world. I've been called Sambo, Jigaboo, nigga, dumb nigga, monkey, gorilla, ape, coon, and spook. The racial climate in this nation is very high. People are being attacked because of their skin color. The federal government is leading the way on these attacks. Some people see it and don't care, while others don't see it or care to. Which one are you? So I'm going to continue to waiting on the world to change. I'm going to stop it right there. I'll come back when I have more time. Talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by. Inspiration from the conversation is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please send me a message through fan mail. Thanks for listening.